Lee at Iridium. Hope you're doing all right. Album review time. Social Disorder. Love to be Hated. So this album is coming out on June the 18th on AFM Records, and I'm lucky enough to have been sent a promo for it to give you an album review early. So actually, this is one of the albums I've been looking forward to since I heard the first song, Windy Road, and then the title track, Love to be Hated. And I just thought, well, this is going to be one of the best albums of the year. It's going to be one of those surprises, maybe one of those ones that's going to go under the radar. So I thought, I've got to try and get hold of an early listen. And thank you, guys, for sending me this, because it's a great album, an absolutely great album. So this album features Anders L.A. Ronblom, who is been in a few bands, Killer Bee, X-Romance, Wolfpack, and he's recruited some great musicians to be on this album. There's a big list, but I'll just name a few. You've got an unknown vocalist called Thomas Nerdy. Now, sounds like he's been in the business for years. Suits this music down to the ground, because what you get on this album is classic rock stroke metal, that's sort of late 70s, early 80s style, with loads of melody all the way through it. But perfect, absolutely perfect for this sort of band. Anders L.A. Ronblom does bass and some rhythm guitar. Also a couple of other people. You've got Tracy Guns, does a load of lead guitar on this. Now, I think he might do all the lead guitar on the songs. I'm not sure. I think he'd done the first two that I reacted to. Check out both of those reactions, because they are great songs. You can hear those songs in full, but obviously not the rest of this, because it's not released yet. Sean Duncan on the drums, and Rudy Sarzo also on the bass. So some great musicians guesting with Anders L.A. Ronblom on this. So I said about we get classic rock and metal. Yeah, we get Whitesnake sounding sometimes, that sort of bluesy sort of feel, the older Whitesnake, if you like. Bit of Rainbow, Dio era probably more than anything. Yeah, you get that it's stuck in those sort of 70s and 80s, but you still get the modern production, more modern melodies as well. And, you know, it's not completely in that 70s style. You get a modern edge to it as well. We're talking classic rock, metal. This is a very personal album. Apparently on the write-up about how it was written by Anders L.A. Ronblom, personal experiences in life, things he's gone through, and now he's got a new lease of life. And that's all just basically pouring his heart out on this record. And it shows. It really does. It does sound like a real personal album. I just want to touch on the guitar solos as well. So, like I said, I think Tracy Guns done most of these solos, and I think they're absolutely brilliant. Tracy Guns has come late into my musical, landscape, if you like, especially through the Sunbomb record. So I didn't really hear a lot of LA Guns. But I've really been impressed mainly with the couple of songs, and also the rest of this album now. I think it's him playing on all of it. That I heard the singles for this album. I've been really impressed, especially on Windy Road. He does some brilliant guitaring on there. And I've noticed with Tracy Guns, it's all about melody. It's melody lines running through those guitar solos, rather than just concentrating on and just going, technically fast or anything like that. He likes to keep the melody nearly in every song. If not, it's in and out of those technical guitar solos. He does a brilliant job. But the biggest shout out has surely got, apart from Anders L.A. Ronblom, who wrote this album, it's got to be to Thomas Nordin, the unknown vocalist. He just fits, like I said, straight in with this classic rock sound, and the best vocalists out there who are doing this sort of stuff. There's some classic rock albums that miss the point, I think. There's been a few of them, and I've reviewed them. Won't name any names, but they just quite don't get there. They're almost trying to recapture that sound too much, but it doesn't sound right. There's something missing. This one has got that sound, but like I said, it's got a sort of a little bit of a modern edge as well. And it doesn't sound like it's just trying to hark back to everything that was going on in the late 70s, early 80s. It's got its own identity. I want to run through every track because they're really great. Obviously, you've got some brilliant tracks, some good to brilliant tracks. There's something to be liked by every fan of rock and metal, I think, on this album. A real standout track is the first single, though, I must admit, Windy Road. It's time to choose and take back control. It caught me by surprise when I first heard it, and it still does now. Really epic. Kick it. A bit of a some people might think it's a bit of a strange one to kick the album off with, because it's a sort of a slower, sort of mid-paced, slow to mid-paced sort of tempo. It's a real interesting listen, but I think it's a brilliant, brilliant song. Starts off with a bit of a creepy horror intro, if you like. Then these soulful vocals from Thomas Nordin come in, and then throughout the song, a really strong performance by him. It's a totally epic song. At the 2-minute mark, it gets heavier. There's a riff that comes in that just makes the hair stand on the back of your neck. An excellent song. And then it sort of plays out like it did at the beginning with that horror sort of. It's a brilliant listen. And if you want to listen to the song in full, check out my reaction. Absolutely love that song. Next song is like almost a power metal feel. It's called Dreaming. Twin lead melodies going over the beginning of it. Vocals so powerful here. Great solo. Yet again, those melody lines are followed. It's nothing. It's not going off on a tangent like a lot of power sort of metal would. But it's not all about the fast trickery. Although, you know, Tracy Guns can do that fast trickery guitar solo stuff. It's about the melody first and foremost. Great song, that. More of a fast tempo song, Dreaming. Next up is Scars. Sort of a medium pace song, nice riff kicking off, a little bluesy. You get little bluesy touches in here like you did with classic rock and metal, but not too much. It's always on the bluesy rock stroke metal side. Got a really early 80s feel, this one, for me. A nice groove to it. Great backing vocals as well. There's brilliant backing vocals throughout this album. And I think when I was saying earlier on about some of the classic rock albums that have been coming out lately, the classic rock sounding, don't know if you can call it classic rock because it's classic when it becomes old, I suppose, but that classic rock sounding albums, there's some that miss that with the backing vocals and it just doesn't grab you. I think you need those to lift up these songs, and that's what it does on this Scars song, plus all the others. The backing vocals are a prominent part, and I always think that's a really fundamental part of rock and metal. Great backing vocals. Next up is an excellent song, the second single, Love to Be Hated. If you want to listen to this song again, well, you can either check out the actual video on YouTube or check out my reaction. I love the song. Second single, like I said, nice chugging riff with those vocals kicking it off. Nice touch of keyboards with this one, sort of bringing depth to the song. Guitar is the sort of main part of these songs. You get keys coming in and out, but not like it's at the forefront like an AOR type thing. They're sort of used as a sort of an effect and to sort of bring depth to the songs more than being a prominent part of this album. Great chorus, Love to Be Hated, catchy, and that chugging riff coming in and out of the song with those vocals from Thomas Nordin is brilliant. Next up is Razer Glass. Bit of a bluesy beat with this one, heavy riffing, touches of Hammond organ throughout this one, sort of rock and blues song. Soulful vocals, man, from Thomas Nordin. You know, he's got that, sometimes he hits them real soulful Jolene Turner type feel to his voice as well. Sal Away is next, another one of my strongest songs on this. Kicks off with a heavy riff, a bit doomy actually, a little bit of doom, not too much, but it touches upon doom. Has a real epic feel, classic rock metal. Great twin lead melodies throughout the solo as well. Like I said, the guitar in, is absolutely great from Tracy Guns. And I apologise, I think Tracy's doing all the guitaring in this, all the solos. Next up is Down on My Knees. Blues rock again, metal sort of, but only touches of it. It's like hints of blues on this one. A real fun song, this one, actually. It sort of brings that blues feel of bands, you know, when they went through that stage, sometimes bands in the 80s, but the sort of gang vocals sort of lift this one. I love a bit of gang vocals sometimes, and I think that's what brought that 80s sound to this song as well. The heaviness is still there because of the heavy riffing, you know, but it's got that 80s feel. Out of Love is next. A bit rockier, this one. Great sort of vocal delivery, man, from Thomas Norden. Hopefully, because of this album, we'll get out there and get noticed a little bit more. He's got a great tone. I love his voice in Out of Love. A bit of a faster song, that one. Next up is The One Piano. Coming in with this one, just with vocal. And that's what it's sort of like all the way through. No drums coming in this one, so it's sort of piano, some keys, and the great vocals of Thomas Norden. So you sort of, this is more of an isolated track for him. So it's more like a vocal song. So you can really concentrate on how good Thomas Norden's voice is. And then it's just finishes off with an instrumental called Wings of Serenity. This is okay. I'm not into instrumentals too much, but it had really pleased those people, those musicians out there that want to hear some great musicianship like there is all the way through this album. And even that song doesn't lose any of the melody. It just depends if you're into instrumentals that much. I'm not really into them. It sort of rounds off the album nice though, an instrumental. Do you know what I mean? It sort of makes sense because of all the great musicianship you've heard all the way through the album. But I would like to hear Thomas Norden's voice again on this one. But great guitar parts all the way through that. So that's it. So I would really recommend this album. I've really been looking forward to it coming out. It sounds great. Huge production. Real classic rock with melody all the way through. If you're a fan of Tracy Gunn's guitar work, you know, you got him all over this album. Thomas Norden, you know, new musician as far as I can see, unknown, and he just does a brilliant job throughout. Sounds really confident, reached the heights just like any of those classic rock vocalists. And of course, Anders L.A. Ronblom does a great job. It feels a very personal album. There's some real hair standing on the back of your neck moments in this. Some real sort of, like, you hear it first time and you think, oh, that sounds real, like it's going to be a years to come song, if you like. Some of these that you know, you really feel the power in the songs. Some of these songs really sound like they're going to have some staying power in years to come. You know, songs like Windy Road, Love to Be Hated, Sail Away. There's some real brilliant songs here. If you love classic rock and metal with great powerful vocals, you know, you're going to love this. You are going to love this. And there's some real epic moments in it as well. So highly recommend this. Social Disorder, Love to Be Hated, June the 18th, AFM Records. Recommend it. Couldn't recommend it more. For all those fans, like I said, of classic rock, Whitesnake, Rainbow, but with a tinge of modern production as well. Great backing vocals and great musicianship all round. I'll see you next time.